What's up, everybody? It's your boy CB back at you with another video. Before the video gets going, I have the week 2 weekly V-Buck giveaway winner's gift, just to show me giving him the gift so that you guys believe me and don't think I'm scamming or anything like that. If you want to be entered into next week's giveaway, which will be announced on Sunday in a community post, and you'll also be messaged individually, so you'll definitely find out if I pick you. All you have to do is like all the videos from the current week, comment something positive on them too, and then make sure to be subscribed with notifications on, because the earlier you comment on the videos, the better your chances of winning are. And that doesn't mean that you just have to instantly comment something when it goes public. So like you can watch the video and then comment something so that it's not just like a forced comment, if you know what I mean. Because some people go on videos and then just like instantly comment something like to be the first, which is great and all. That's all cool. But I'm not saying you have to be the first person, as long as it's just sometime like when the video was first posted, so I know you have notifications on. But yeah, so into the video. Right now, in my opinion, the best way to improve as far as what you should be practicing is realistic 1v1s. In this video, all the gameplay is going to be realistic 1v1s I did against yours truly, Hydrix69. I have the audio off for the gameplays because I accidentally had my mic on while I was screen recording, so you can hear us like talking, and it's just like annoying. No one wants to hear that. But yeah, so the reasons I think these are so good, I'll also be having the creative code in the description. Hopefully I remember to put it in. If I don't put the code for the creative map in, you can easily just Google realistic 1v1 creative match code, and you'll easily be able to find it, but it should be in the description of this video too. There are a lot of reasons why I think right now this is the best way to improve. There are obviously lots and lots of ways to improve, like aim maps, like just 1v1s or box fights. But I think you get a little bit of everything with this. When you start off, right from the start, you get a randomized loot that's changed up like every time. Out of there's a certain amount of guns and like items and stuff that are in like the loot that you can get, but it's not the same each game. It like changes up, which I think first of all is really good, because if you're only used to playing with purple pump, blue AR, or like now that's not even purple pump's not even in the game. So it's like I think it's really good to get used to using a bunch of different weapons at all times, because people who have been in creative only using purple pumps now are at a disadvantage because they're not even in the game anymore. So you're going to want to have experience with as many weapons as possible and not only get used to using the same weapons all the time. So that's the first thing that I think is great. You get randomized weapons, and it goes between like ARs, AKs, infantries, all which are good for aiming, and it also goes between tacs, pumps, and combat shotguns. And then like the items are different. There's like SMGs and drum guns, and there's different heals each game. But yeah, I think it's really good for the randomizedness. Another thing I think is really, really good about this is you don't really know where your opponent is until you first see him, but it's not like clear where he is from the start. As you do it more and more, you kind of will adapt to see kind of where people usually come from, but it's not always the same. So there's definitely like a kind of stealth part of it where you can sneak up on people, and you can use like, there's certain like bushes and like corn and stuff that you can hide in. And I think that's really good too, because it creates like realistic plays you might do in a game in like a competitive tournament or something like that, where hiding is going to be the play. And like if you use the things in here to try to get like sneaky shots off, like there's just no way to practice that in like box fights or 1v1s really. Like you can try to be sneaky in certain spots, but it's not very game realistic in my opinion, because there isn't like things to hide behind and that kind of stuff. So that's one thing I really like about it. Another thing I really like about it is you get all the practice you get in box fights and 1v1s, and it's just kind of all in one, in my opinion. One thing I like about this over 1v1s is that in 1v1s, you know exactly when to start building up. You start building up from the second the first edit is made on the wall and you both run up a ramp. But in this, you have to make your own judgment call for when is the time to start building up and trying to get height on your opponent, because unless you like would prefer to play from low ground, which some people do, but most people would rather be on high ground, you're going to have to time when is the right time to build up, because if you build up too early, it's easy to get shot out. If you build up too late, you won't get on height. So I think that is just like a really, really important thing, because when you think about it, every fight in a game, there's going to be some point where one person builds up in height. If you're fighting someone out in the open, if you're in a house and stuff, it's not really as important. But a lot of the fights that are out in the open start with one person building up. And if the person times the build up correctly, they'll get height and be in a big advantage in the fight. If they time it wrong, that could be the difference between winning and losing the fight, whether they get shot out and die to fall damage or something like that. But yeah, you guys get the point. I think that's really important to like figure out the perfect timing for when to build up. Also, what I like to do is I like to build ramps and then rotate them so that I can get a look at what my opponent's doing. In 1v1's box fights, that's not really as much of a thing, in my opinion. In this video, I'm going to be saying in my opinion, because this stuff is kind of opinion based. It's also kind of factual though too, because a lot of the stuff I'm saying isn't really debatable, but some of it you might be able to debate a little bit. Another reason I like this a lot is because there's various items that you won't be expecting, especially when you first start doing it. As you get used to it, you'll realize what items people can have. But stuff like stink bombs, boogie bombs, storm surge, airstrike, just various things, some of which aren't even in the game. But knowing that they're in here, you kind of always have to be prepared for anything. Because if someone throws a storm surge at you, you have to be prepared to build out of the zone while avoiding getting shot, which is great practice. Things like that that'll happen all the time in these creative 1v1s that you won't get doing any other practice really. The name stays true to it when you think about it, realistics, because it really is just about as realistic as a fight could get. Another thing about these that I think is good is you start off with 3 traps, I believe, each round, and with traps, you have to be super smart when going in people's boxes, and you're going to want to have all the builds so that you can place your traps on the walls. So it kind of encourages you to not just spam drum gun into people's boxes, and it makes you take more of a strategic approach for like pushing someone in really close range. So that's why a lot of the fights I'm either doing like shot builds and like stuff where I'm not getting in his box, because you never know when he's going to trap. I don't know what he was doing in this one. I'm pretty sure he just gave up. But yeah, another thing I briefly touched upon but didn't go into detail is the weapons are really pinpoint accurate for some of them, like deagles and infantries. And using guns like deagles in practice on a moving person is one of the best aim practices you can have, just overall. And another thing I like about these is in a lot of the fights, I like to knock out my opponent when he goes up too high in the build fights. And in like build battles, if you're shooting at your opponent, like he's probably going to get mad at you, he or she is probably going to get mad at you for just shooting him out. But in realistics, you kind of want to take it as realistic as the fight could be. So in a lot of fights, knocking down your opponent is going to be the best play, and practicing that is really important, I believe. Another thing I think is very important is fighting someone that's a similar skill level to you, because if one person's way better than the other, it's not going to be great practice for either person. If you made it this far in the video, can you comment 100K soon, referring to how many subs we'll hopefully have someday soon? Just so I know who our real fans are, who watched all of our videos to the end. It really does mean so much to us. It definitely will help your chances of winning the V-Buck giveaway if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Your support in the live streams and on all of our videos has been crazy. We really do appreciate it so much, and we're growing way faster than we ever thought we would. So thank you guys again. Enjoy the rest of the clips, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.